All right, y'all. Let's talk about Jasmine Brown and the post she recently shared that had the whole internet looking at her sideways. If you're not familiar with her situation, Jasmine Brown is in a relationship with Cam Newton. She already had his 9th child, and right now she's pregnant again, expecting their second baby together. Now here's where things got people talking. Jasmine opened up about how nervous she would feel if this baby turned out to be a boy. She admitted that the thought gives her real anxiety because she's scared she might end up raising her son to be the kind of man she has always dreamed of but never actually had in her own life. She put it in her own words. If God gave me a son, I'd be so nervous because I feel like I subconsciously raised him to be a man I can only dream of, but never experienced. And honestly, that sounds painful and very traumatic. She continued by saying, everyone keeps wishing a son on me. They keep saying there's no love like the love from a son. But for her, that pressure doesn't feel good at all. She admitted that it gives her anxiety because she doesn't even understand why people are pushing that idea onto her. At the end of her post, she made it clear that her only real prayer is to have a healthy pregnancy, a safe labor, and a smooth delivery for both her and her baby. Whether it's a boy or a girl doesn't matter to her. What matters is that the baby is born healthy and well. So if we break this down, Jasmine is basically sharing a fear that if she ends up having a son, she might unconsciously try to mold him into her version of the perfect man, the type of man she always longed for, but never got the chance to experience. And let's be honest, when you look at Cam Newton's history with women, it's pretty clear why she feels this way. His track record hasn't exactly been great. It's possible that she isn't receiving the loyalty, respect, or emotional support that she craves from him. Because of that, her fear makes sense. She's worried that if her child is a boy, she'll try to make him into everything Cam Newton is not for her, the faithful, supportive, and loving partner she wishes she had. This whole situation actually cuts really deep for Jasmine, because what she's basically admitting is that she's unhappy in her relationship, and instead of finding that fulfillment with her partner, she's already thinking about how a possible son could end up filling that empty space inside her. That's heartbreaking to even think about. What makes it even more striking is the fact that Jasmine has stood by Cam Newton for years, even while he openly disrespected her in public. Time and time again, his actions showed that he wasn't really committed to her, and instead of calling him out, she would often defend him. Now, it feels like for the first time, she's starting to admit that his behavior has taken a serious toll on her emotionally and mentally. But of course, the internet didn't go easy on her. Fans immediately started dragging her in the comments. One person wrote, "So basically, you want to raise him to be a man that's nothing like his father that you chose. Raise him to be a man, not your man. Don't let your misfortune in his life be his burden to carry." Another comment pointed out how shocking it is that she's having Cam's 9th child, her second with him, while at the same time saying she'd want to raise a son into the kind of man she's never had in her own life. For many people online, that was just too much. A lot of people also brought up a bigger issue, saying, I hate to say it, but a lot of mothers treat their sons like their significant others. And honestly, that's what struck a nerve. People were worried Jasmine was already heading down that path, and while those comments were harsh, the truth is, not many people are showing sympathy toward Jasmine. That's because in the past, she had a habit of calling other women stupid for allowing men to mistreat them. She would constantly preach about how no woman should ever let a man play with her or disrespect her. Yet here she is, living the very reality she used to criticize, becoming the exact type of woman she once looked down on.
Pick-me's are women who try to do everything right just so a man can choose me. Yeah, cut that shit out. Cause I'm gonna keep it real with you. Men already know what they want in a woman and who they want. But if you're so nurturing and you're an asset and it's not you, they'll never tell you to stop doing what you're doing because it's beneficial. And I don't want to hear none of that shit like, oh, I'm just a nice person. I'm genuinely like that. Well, bitch, you gonna genuinely get played. No, it's just that I'm just naturally like that. Like the shit I do for him is natural. And your natural ass is gonna get played. If you are making a man's life easier, i.e. cooking, cleaning, providing pussy whenever he wants, and he's giving you the minimum, he's never going to do more. And he's never gonna tell you to stop because it's beneficial to him. No history in niggadom ever has a man been like, oh, stop doing all this stuff. Stop making my life easier. I don't look at you like that. Hell no, they gonna kick.
You know that old saying, don't say what you won't do, because you'll end up being the first one to do it. Well, That pretty much sums up Jasmine's situation right now. She's living out the exact reality she used to speak against. Everything she once warned other women about, she's right there in it. And honestly, when I look at her post, it really feels like a quiet cry for help. It's her way of letting people know she's hurting, even if she doesn't come right out and say it. But here's the thing. No matter what she posts online, no matter how much she hints at her pain, deep down, it feels like she's not going anywhere. If she ever does leave Cam Newton, it won't happen overnight. It would take a lot, a breaking point, something really heavy, for her to finally walk away. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Cam ends up being the one who walks away first, because from the outside looking in, it seems like Jasmine feels too invested to leave. She already has one child with him, she's carrying another, and she's poured years of her emotions into this relationship. And let's be real, she's probably given way more of herself than he ever has. Cam hasn't hidden the fact that he hasn't been faithful, and that imbalance between them is clear. Yet, Jasmine still holds on, maybe because of her kids, maybe because she doesn't want to admit all that effort went to waste. But now I want to hear from y'all. What do you think about this whole situation? Do you think Jasmine's post is really a sign that she's looking to fill the love she's not receiving from Cam by placing that hope onto her son? Or do you think she'll eventually reach a point where she decides enough is enough? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because I really want to know how y'all are viewing this. That's all I've got for now, but we'll talk again in the next one.
Jasmine Brown, Cam Newton's mother of his children. Y'all be acting like she's the biggest dummy on the internet, and I don't like it. Because when Jada Waiter said she would rather cry in a rape than an Altima, it was tea. When Lil Durk proposed to India, it was couple skulls. When Ari in Moneybag Yo, he cheat on her all the time, it's cool. G Herbo and Hyena, it's cool. I feel like you should just say y'all don't like Cam Newton. Like he's not your type. Like he's not the type that you would let cheat on you. That's what you should say. Because when all the other girls is getting cheated on by they rapper / athlete / they're not the biggest dummy in the world, and every time they post, y'all not at their neck. So why are y'all doing my girl like that? I'm just asking a question. Somebody let me know.
I was on IG when I came across a post from the Shade Room, and they were talking about Jasmine Brown, comedian Jasmine Brown, that's Cam Newton's baby mama. Well, of course, we know that she's pregnant again by him. And she was kind of transparent post. The thought of possibly having a boy, which I'm assuming she doesn't know the sex of the baby, gives me anxiety. And, people was like going in on her, like, you knew the type of man you was dealing with, same old shit. But I say that to say, I understood what she was talking about, because when I was pregnant with Sugar Mama, when I found out that she was a girl, my anxiety level just went through the roof. And it went through the roof because my biggest fear was being the same person that birthed me. And I refused to be that person to her. So I understand where she's coming from. Like, I understand what she meant. But at the same token, like, girl, why did you have another baby? Like, that's stupid.